quite short because we already have an introduction of it to the digital economy. And digital economy is quite important today. Why? Especially in the taxation area, because some time ago when you are forming the tax office, then of course you are automatically assigned to a human assistant. Today, in many tax offices, you are giving a chatbot, so it's answering your questions. If they are not complicated, that you don't have a problem. But if there are some complication, then you first have to talk to the chatbot, and then you are assigned a human advisor. Yeah, so everything is changing in such a way that basically digitalization is coming into today. We are first coming to robots and then to humans today. And why it is happening in the European Union, it is also affecting the area of VAT. And there are more and more measures being implemented in that area. I may only consider some measures. Most of us today have electronic signature and are using the corporate tax office, some credentials, and some authentication measures are used to submit tax returns online and to make tax payment also online. Today, so that's one measure that you can find in many countries. What I already mentioned, virtual assistant is responding to your request today, and how it predominantly those virtual assistants are used. Only 38.5% of tax authorities across the globe or across the OECD countries are not using virtual assistants, assistants in contacting the taxpayers. Predominantly virtual assistants are used, either rule-based or machine learning, so it depends. What are other measures? Today, you are not filling your tax return by yourself. You have a preferred return and it is sent to you to a profile or special profile that you have online. And then you are checking, taking all right or wrong, and they are sending it back. Of course, there are new measures being implemented to detect fraud, and that is very surprising recently. The tax authorities, there has always been a dispute resolution. And today, tax authorities came up at the idea that it may also be accomplished by robots. We don't need humans to negotiate between tax authorities and a taxpayer. We may use robots to help us with those negotiations, and they are developing something called Smart Settle. That is a system that will help solve problems when they are arising between taxpayer and tax authorities. Blockchain is used. Blockchain is used, so when we issue an invoice, this invoice was in the past sent by the seller to the acquirer of the goods. Today, we have to send, or in the future, we will have to send this invoice first to the tax office. We will receive an ID that will be placed in a public ledger. Then, with this ID, the invoice will be resent to the seller. The seller will then send it to the acquirer. The acquirer will once again send it to the tax office in order to confirm that he received it. And tax office will tick basically that everything is correct with that transaction, and then this transaction will be signed. And why it is used? Because now, only the seller and the acquirer know that the transaction is going on. And it was causing a problem because apart from those two people, tax officers knew that the transaction is being signed, that what is needed So we need this knowledge universally across the whole transaction chain. So everyone, every supplier in the transaction chain should know that the transaction before and after him is correct in terms of tax matters. Because what is happening today, tax authorities are claiming that no matter who didn't pay the tax, everyone in the transaction chain is responsible. And there is no measure of control for other transaction participants. So with this blockchain, everyone will be informed that others in the transaction chain are somehow dealing in a correct manner with tax authorities. Yeah? And why do we have that? Because of the huge scale of fraud. And then scale of fraud is illustrated on that slide. And basically, what we have, some countries are really suffering a lot, like Romania, 38% fraud. Italy, some countries are doing quite well, like Sweden or Finland. But that's why all those measures, blockchain and electronic control, should put into place. So we can standardize audit file for tax, obligatory electronic invoicing system. And apart from that, for instance, there are new obligations, electronic obligations put on digital platforms that are basically selling goods and providing services. And also, the European Union is joining in and they prepared a program, back in the digital age. I will not concentrate on that. I will only mention briefly one measure, single place of registration. Why it is important? Because in the past, when someone from France, for example, was selling digital goods to someone in Germany and someone in Spain, he had an obligation to register in Spain and in Germany. And so in every country he was selling to. Today, electronic system allows registration only in one place, and the information is being passed on to all the tax authorities across the European Union. One thing to consider for conclusion, those measures should help. Yeah? And they are planned to not only to fight the fraud, but also to simplify the system. But the question is, to what extent are they really simplifying the system? Because we have more and more obligations, we have to adapt to this new technology, which is sometimes quite difficult. Now, new costs being imposed on enterprises, and there's a lot of cyber attacks going on. And basically, how to deal with those problems, that's a very interesting, important question to be asked, and no one knows the answer really from that, or that in that time. Thank you very much for listening.